영상이 시작되기 전에 먼저 등장할 5개의 문장을 보여드릴게요. 빈칸에 들어갈 표현을 유추해보세요. 단어 하나하나를 직역하지 않고 전체 의미에 맞게 의역하고자 노력합니다. 그게 바로 영어식 사고의 출발이에요. 그럼 시작해볼까요?
They really hit their stride around 2020. That income source is drying up. People are rushing to buy before the discount disappears. Our sources talk about them pushing into totally new areas. Certain political connections might be hurting their image.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into a company that's pretty much always in the news, Tesla.
Definitely keeps things interesting.
It really does. It's, way more than just electric cars these days. It's this whole story of big innovation, but also, some pretty big challenges too.
That's right.
We've gathered various sources, trying to piece together a clear picture of, where they are right now and maybe get a sense of where things are going. Okay, let's get into it.
Indeed. It really is a fascinating mix, isn't it? You've got this amazing technology, huge ambitions, but then these very real financial headwinds and market changes hitting them.
So maybe let's start with a quick look back. Founded in 2003, right? And they really hit their stride around 2020.
Yeah, that was a key year. Became profitable, joined the S&P 500, big stuff. And of course, they gave us cars like the Model S, the Model 3.
Right, cars that really, shook up the whole auto industry.
Absolutely. But that success story makes the recent numbers look, quite different.
How so?
Well, our sources show that in the first quarter of this year, 2025, their revenue actually dropped by 9%.
9%, okay.
And earnings, they fell sharply. We're talking 71% down.
Wow, 71.
Yeah. It was enough that they actually withdrew their growth forecast for the whole year. And car revenue specifically was down 20%. It's a significant shift.
Okay, here's something I find really interesting and maybe a bit confusing for people. They've always made quite a bit of money from these regulatory credits, haven't they?
Uh-huh.
What exactly are those, and why is that becoming a problem now?
That's a really crucial piece of the puzzle. So think of it like this. Governments, especially in the US and Europe, they have rules. They want car companies to sell more zero-emission vehicles, right?
Right, make more EVs.
Exactly. But as some older traditional car companies maybe can't make enough EVs themselves to meet the target.
Oh, okay.
They can buy these credits from a company like Tesla, which makes only EVs, basically.
So Tesla sells its good environmental points to other companies.
In a way, yes. And historically, this has been huge for Tesla's bottom line. About 25%, a quarter, of their operating income over the last 3 years came from just selling these credits.
A quarter? That's massive.
It is. But now, two things are happening. One, other car makers are finally starting to produce more of their own EVs, so they don't need to buy as many credits.
Makes sense.
And two, some of the rules are changing, making the whole market for these credits less valuable. Tesla actually expects to lose about $1.11 billion because of this shift.
Okay, so that income source is drying up, earnings are down, but what about demand for the actual cars? Are people still buying Teslas?
Well, interestingly, yes. Sources actually point to a big jump in demand right now, this quarter, especially for the Model Y.
Oh, why is that then?
It seems mostly driven by a U.S. federal tax credit. There's one worth up to $7,500 for EVs, but it's set to expire at the end of September.
Ah, so people are rushing to buy before the discount disappears.
Exactly, pulling their purchases forward, basically.
Got it. That makes sense. But Tesla isn't just sitting still, right? Our sources talk about them pushing into totally new areas.
That's right. They're definitely trying to pivot, to diversify. The big headline grabber is robotaxis.
Robotaxi?
They launched a sort of limited service in Austin back in June, using Model Ys, but importantly still with a human safety operator inside.
Okay, so not fully autonomous yet in practice there.
Not yet. But the plan is ambitious. They want to expand to about a dozen U.S. cities by the end of this year, 2025. And they're aiming for full production of their dedicated Cybercab vehicles sometime in 2026 or 2027.
Cybercab. Okay. Anything else besides robotaxis?
Yes. They're also working on a new, lower-cost EV platform. Think of it as the basic structure for a cheaper electric car. They hope to start delivering vehicles based on that in the second half of 2025.
A cheaper Tesla could be huge. But with all this exciting stuff, what are the big risks? What are the challenges they're really facing?
It's not just finances. The brand itself seems to be facing some headwinds.
How so?
For instance, some reports we looked at suggest certain political connections, let's say, might be hurting their image in some places. One source pointed to a huge 76% drop in registrations in Germany, linking it partly to that.
76% in Germany. That's a big market.
It is. And then there's just the sheer competition now. It's not like the early days. You have rivals like BYD, the Chinese company.
Right, I've heard a lot about them.
Well, BYD sold almost 3 times as many EVs as Tesla did in the first quarter of 2025.
Wow, triple.
Yeah. So the market is much, much tougher now.
So, okay, let's try and wrap this up. We've got these financial shifts, the credit issue, this temporary demand spike, these big bets on robotaxis and cheaper cars, but also brand challenges and fierce competition. What's the overall picture for Tesla moving forward?
Well, pulling it all together, analysts are actually expecting slightly lower deliveries for 2025 than they maybe thought earlier. Tesla definitely remains a really compelling story, but, also a very volatile one, both for people who own the cars and people who own the stock.
Volatile seems like the right word.
It does. I think the big question really, for you watching them, is can they manage all these operational issues, these regulatory risks, while also successfully launching these huge new things like autonomous driving and completely new ways of manufacturing?
That really is the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what matters more going forward? Keeping that innovation engine running full speed or just navigating all these challenges? Definitely something to think about as you keep following the story.
영어와 시사 경제 두 마리 토끼를 한 번에 잡는 알찬 시간 되셨다면 구독과 좋아요를 꾹 눌러주세요. 감사합니다.